All right, what's up, everybody? I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. After I knocked my Xbox controller off of my computer, so this is gonna be a Lumberjack Simulator mapping tutorial of sorts, I guess. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I have been working a good bit with Unity. This is a map I'm working on for the Lumberjack Simulator game, which, if you're not familiar with that, I'll try to remember to put the link to the Steam page below, and you can go check it out. It's not that expensive. In fact, well, let's see. Hold on just a second. Yeah, so here's Lumberjack Simulator on the Steam store. You can see some, he's got some videos and some screenshots and stuff. And it's, right now it is going for $19.99. That's US, of course. So you can go check it out. I feel like that with the progress the game has made, at this point, that $19.99 it's worth it. I mean, because he's constantly there's only one developer, which in a way is good and bad. Because it's good because he's open to a lot of suggestions and he kind of gets on things fairly quickly whenever we have issues with things. And he's willing to work with us and all that, so that's good. There's several of us in here that are giving him suggestions and making improvements to the game, stuff like that. But bad in another way because it is only one guy and can only do so much during the time period. So it's kind of slow sometimes, but things are picking up. There are some mods already on the workshop. Let me see. Let me find where. Let's see, where is the, well, where'd it go? I'm not too familiar. I forget how to get there. anyway, on the Steam workshop for this game, there's some mods that are already out there. I think there's a couple of semi trucks, trailer. There's a monster truck. And some other stuff, but anyway, you can go check it out. I mean, and there's some reviews down here too. You can look at those. But I think for the most part, this game is definitely playable for $19.99. There's a career mode and a easy mode, kind of like open world type thing. The career mode, you do have to like follow, like you cut down so many trees and load them in the back of a truck, and then it takes it off and sells it and whatever, and then you move up to the next level and do some more work and do wood chips, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. But you can go over here and check it out. Here's some of the screenshots that are on the Steam page. So it's pretty cool. He's got his truck, and I think one of the recent additions was he made some upgrades to the pickup truck. I think you can get like bigger mud tires and engine and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's check out Unity. All right, so here we are. This is Unity, let's see, 2018.4.22. And I think at some point he is going to upgrade to a different version of Unity. But I think he's wanting to get this game a little bit further along before he does that. So it may be, if you're familiar with a different version or something, it may be a little bit longer before, we get there. In fact, I think he's even talking about Lumberjack Simulator 2, but we still got a ways to go before that happens. Anyway, okay, so here's what happens. So if you're wanting to get started mapping for Lumberjack Simulator, and I will say there is a bit of a learning curve, but it's not too bad. I've been able to figure it out. Here's the Discord for Lumberjack Simulator right there. And if you come down here to modding files, right there on, what is that, June 12th, he posted the latest project file, I guess you could call it, which has all the trees and some buildings and vehicles and stuff like that, and that's what you load into to Unity right here. And he's constantly updating stuff. You can see here's some more scripts, then some breakable bushes and things, so that's pretty cool. And then over here on the modding chat, you can see I've made some posts here and stuff, but And some of us that are in here mapping, you know, we suggest ideas, and you know, if you got a question, we can come in here, and usually he'll hop on here pretty quick and answer our questions. You can see here, this is the developer here, Real Lumber. He's made some suggestions there and stuff and helped us out a good bit. But anyway, you can join the Discord, and I'll try to remember to put a link to that also in the description below. All right, so I guess the first thing first is you got to get our terrain, and that's where the project file comes in. And I believe, yeah, so when you load in the game, or the project file that has this map in it, it's here, let me get over here where I can show you. So the terrain that he has is, you know, it's kind of, it look kind of like this. I took a real world digital elevation model, I guess you say, and I popped it in there to try to do something with it. You can do that. It's pretty cool, pretty easy. All you gotta do is click on the terrain, and then let's see, I believe, let's see, to expand, yeah, well, I don't remember exactly how to do the terrain, but I'll make another video on that one later. But anyway, once you get the terrain in there, or you could just use his and modify it. That's pretty easy. I can show you that real quick. So when you're got the terrain selected, and you're come over here to this inspector tab, and then you got the terrain little area here, this little paintbrush right here, you click it, and then you get a drop down where you can, I don't know what create neighbor terrains does. It may build another tile. I'm not really sure how to ask about that one. And then you got raise or lower terrain, paint texture, set height, smooth height, and then stamp terrain, which I'm not really sure what that one does either. So these top two, I really don't know what they do exactly at this point. I'm still learning a lot of this. But raise or lower terrain will give you this little purple circle, and then you can change the brush size down here. You make it pretty big. You can change the opacity, which is basically the strength. So right now I've got it set on 5, which is pretty low. That means whenever I make a click, I just clicked, you see nothing really. You might have saw it change a slight amount, but if I jump it up here to say 80 something and make a click, you can see it really jumped it up a good bit. So that's how you change the strength of it. And of course the size. I'm just gonna undo those two. All right, and then the same thing basically with paint texture, although with the paint texture we're not really using that, and I'll show you just in a minute how we do the paint the texture stuff. And then the set height is basically the same thing as the raise or lower. And I forgot to mention, on the raise or lower, if you wanted to lower the terrain, you just you can see there on the right below here where it says hold shift and left click to lower, so you just lower it. But on the set terrain or set height, you can hold control and click, and then once you click, it flattens the terrain to whatever height that you selected. So again, I'm just going to undo that. That's pretty useful. You can adjust it here. You can change the values or whatever you want to there. Smooth heights, basically what you would expect. You get the circle, and then you got your brush size, and your opacity, which is your strength, and then you can smooth out any jagged edges and stuff like that. All right, we'll just stay on this. So right down the row here, the next one over is paint trees. Now this is really cool. If you're used to mapping in Farming Simulator, this is gonna blow your mind. In fact, two things are gonna blow your mind. So if I wanted to paint trees in Farming Simulator, you could manually do it one by one, and you could also, I guess, use a script or something, which is normally what I do. But with this, I can again set my brush size. So I got brush size settings right here, and my tree density is basically how many trees get placed inside each click. So I just clicked, obviously, and there's a bunch of trees. So let's undo that. And let me lower this value, say to about 10. There we go. So if I click again, watch this. Only 2 trees got placed because within that radius, it's looking out and saying, okay, well, you know, you only need, I guess, 10% of what's in the circle, or, you know, whatever the math works out to be. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that, but you can adjust that and click again, and, you know, get a few more trees, and then click some more, and you can add a ton of trees very quickly, as you can see. So that's pretty cool. Now the only thing I wish that it would do that I don't think you can do is select multiples of these. Like if I wanted all the pines selected and paint them all on at once, I don't think you can do that. But what you can do is, say if I select that one and knock this down to, I believe this might work. I haven't really tried it. So pine 1 at 25% opacity, and you paint that on. Pine 3, we've already got a few of those in there, so we won't mess with that. And say the next one, we'll paint, yeah, see, that's not going to work. Okay, I didn't think that would work. You have to bump it up. So what you might do then is, if you wanted a few of the big ones, you might bump it down to 25, and then you can go to the next one and bump it up to, I think this might work, say 50. Paint those in. Then let's try 75. Paint those in. See, we're going to get a lot of trees pretty quickly here, but you get the idea. The more you bump this up, then, you know, the more it's going to place in there. So then all of a sudden we've got a pretty thick pine forest, which is really cool. I can't even imagine, you know, doing that in Farming Simulator without a script that quickly. So that's really cool. Now the other neat thing about this is, let's say you didn't want these big tall trees. So this pine 1, if I hold the control button and click and drag through there, you see it's removing just those big trees, and that is a real big time saver too. Now if I hold the shift button, it just wipes them all out, you can see. Alright, so right now we've only really got 2 species of trees that we can put in here, and we're working on, you know, some other stuff, so maybe in the future we can have some oak trees and, I don't know, some different kind of trees and stuff in here. But you know, there's pine, there's 4 different pines, and there's 4 different birches. The birch trees, let's see, they look like that. You kind of see what those look like. It gives you kind of a different look there. And we'll wipe those out. We also have this mass placed trees. I'm not going to click on it because I think what it's going to do is just, I mean, I know what it does, but I don't want it to do it. It's going to place trees all over your map. So I mean, you'll just be covered with trees. And then I guess you have to adjust the tree density first. Like I say, I'm not going to do that. Maybe in some other video I can go over that, but I'm not going to do that today. All right, so I think we've covered basically everything that we need on the trees. You can see how that works. Now the next thing is grass. Grass and bushes and stuff. He's got a fern, a grass 1, and another grass, and I added this one over here, this other grass. So there's 3 that come with the base map, and you can see I've already got some painted in here. And let's see if I click off of that. You can see what it looks like. Kind of a, I don't know, almost kind of reminds me of something you'd see growing, you know, next to a swampy area or something. I don't know. It's kind of a tall grass, and you can adjust the size of it too. So if I click on that, let me see, let me make this a bit smaller so we can kind of look at it. Let's see if we can get over here where I haven't painted anything yet. Alright, so there's the grass that we've got. And then if I do, let's see, let's go back to this one, because this is what this grass is right here, is this third one. So if I come down here, can I adjust the size of it? There's the brush size, the opacity. No, I can't do the height of the bush. but I think I can go into here and edit it. Yeah, here it is. So maximum height right there. So if you wanted it taller or shorter, you could adjust it here. And all I did there was click on my grass here, go to edit details, and then edit. It pulls this up. You can change the colors, the width, the height, the minimum height, the max height, that kind of stuff. And it's pretty flexible. Whereas in Farming Simulator, you had to pick whether you wanted, well, I think you only got one version of the grass, right? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think the grass, the quote-unquote grass, was only one. Let's see, what else? You can, like I said, you can add different things, different grasses. So there's one that I added. Let me get down here where I can see. All right, so there's, stock game grass, and here's the other grass. I'll paint some of that on. So you can see you can get a different look. That one's just a little bit taller. And again, you can adjust the details, go to edit, down here to edit, and change the maximum height and stuff like that. So that you can see here, whereas this grass over here on the right was 1.5 max height, this one's 20, and so a good bit taller. And I had to do that to make it look right, so that's why it's so big of a number. All right, so continuing on, the settings. I really don't mess a whole lot with this. Well, now I just noticed something here that's interesting. This tree and detail objects, it's got a detail distance. I wonder if I were to bump that down, would it help? Yeah, so you can see it's decreasing the draw. So that's interesting. I didn't notice that was there. The detail density. Oh, okay, so that increases the grass, but even though I'm changing it here in the Unity project, whenever you go into the game, this grass right here is already pretty dense. So, and that's probably due to the settings. Let's see, wind for grass. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here as you can do. All right, so let's move on from that, because there's a lot of this stuff that I don't really even mess with, although I might now, but that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's move over here to the, I guess you'd call it the hierarchy. So you got your terrain and your light, which if you're familiar with Farming Simulator mapping, that's basically the same. I mean, it's not much different. This rigid body first person controller, I believe that is, I never mess with it, but I believe that is like your character. Like, so if you wanted to go in the game, see there's this game option up here. There's scene, game, asset store, and then terrain paint. This game, I think, yeah, so that'll let you kind of actually play, I think, oh, so I gotta hit play up here. Yeah, that's right. Well, oh, there it goes. Okay. All right, so I'll drop into the game. So you can actually play the game and test things while you're mapping. So that is really cool. You don't have to worry about, saving the game, zipping it up or whatever, and then going into the game itself and pulling up the map. And oh, I got some grass to clean up. Anyway, you get the idea. So you can actually move around and play. Now let's see. Get back out of that. Go to here. All right. So that's really cool. And that way you don't have to go into the game and test things. It's a lot faster to play with the game. All right. So we saw the game. Asset store is also really cool because let's say if a Farming Simulator you wanted to look for a building or something. All right. So I can go down here, type in building, and now remember we're still in Unity. I haven't gone outside the game yet, or the project yet. And you can find buildings to purchase and put into the game. This is the Unity asset store, which you can get to from any website. But by the way, just search for it. But you can, if you wanted to put in some New York City buildings, there's $15. That's not too bad. I don't know how many's in there, but you get the idea. You just go look for some stuff. Now, the terrain paint, is where you actually, for this game right now, this is where you paint the textures on here. And so if you come down here about the middle where it says config, and right now it says none, so we have to select our textures. And what we're using is this product, I guess, called Megasplat. And that's really, I guess, for the mud and all that. But you just click on it, it takes a second, and then you can just close it. You can see everything's loaded in here. But here's the textures that we have available to us right now. I think the developer is going to possibly add some more at some point. But right now we've got, road, some cliff stuff, mud. There's forest mud. There's another one with a bunch of leaves and stuff, I guess, on it. Here's grasses, some paving, and then the ice and the snow. I think we can paint it on there, but it doesn't really do anything. There's asphalt, more rocks and stuff, some moss, some lava, ash, which I don't really think we would need to use that. I mean, maybe, but just lots of textures in here. And then here's some mud. So if you wanted to do a really thick, wet mud, it's right there. And then there's also this one. This is on single, so there's also this cluster. And what this does is, if you're familiar with Farming Simulator mapping, how you can kind of combine textures, and so you don't get like a, uniform look across your map. As you can see here, this looks almost like camouflage. That's what this is I combined or used the cluster to paint on different things. So let me change it to let's do, just for fun, something that I know is gonna be different. Let's use this grass. So if I select the grass and bump up my brush size a little bit and go back into the scene, I can paint on grass, a grass texture, I should say. So there's the grass. And then all this is forest ground, I think it is. So you can see if I zoom in, you got like little twigs and some little grass and whatnot. It just kind of combines. And the texture is kind of rough like that. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think with most of these textures, if you drive something heavy over it, it's going to kind of deform a little bit. It's not going to be like mud, but I think eventually it might. I haven't really tested that, but it might kind of, I don't know, maybe deform a little bit. I'm not really sure about that one. But there are some, like for instance, if I go back to terrain paint and we go to forest mud, anything that says mud, so cracked mud, forest mud, and then this wet mud down here. I know those will probably, I know for sure the wet mud and the forest mud. I'm not sure about this other one, this cracked mud. It might. We'll see what that looks like. That's interesting. I need to use that along my creek bottoms and stuff. But you might actually get a vehicle, probably in this darker patches, to sink in the mud there, but I don't know if it would do it on the cracked part. Anyway, let's test that out. Alright, so let me go back over here to the, oh, and I forgot to mention one thing. So when you go back to terrain paint, you've done your painting, you're ready to basically save it, you have to hit this save button right here, because if you don't, it's not going to save it. And then you also have to turn off this checkbox, uncheck that when you're done painting. And if you need to paint, you have to turn it back on, of course, but so that's pretty neat. And then over here on the hierarchy, so we looked at these first three. And then now this one here that says LVL-NLA-level test-01, that's what you have to name it. And if you want to rename it, you have to rename it here and in another place. I think here, there, and there may be there's one other place somewhere, which I can't remember where it is right now, but I will maybe update it, do another video at some point and show that off. But anyway, when you expand this, so you've got mod player spawn, mod vehicle sales, log sale point, some other buildings, there's the garage, Here's the pickup. Now the pickup is not going to show up on the map. Let me get back over here to the garage. However, whenever I click on it, you can see where I've got it. So it's kind of like Farming Simulator where you want to spawn. In fact, here's the mod player spawn, which is right there. I made it right in front of the shop, close to the truck, so you don't have to go too far. For testing purposes and stuff. I'll probably change that when I'm ready to actually release the map and all that. Now the garage building and some other things are not textured, but they are in the game, so if you're worried about that, it's fine. Let's see, gas station, again, that's kind of the same thing. It doesn't have a texture, but it will once you load the game in. So you can set that up. Let's see. Okay, so we need to look at the splines. Alright, so what we did was we found in the asset store. Alright, so I showed this off before. This is the River Auto Material, or RAM for short. And you can watch the little video here. It has how cool this looks. You can put rocks and logs and all sorts of stuff in there. And they even have a deal where you can, you see those floating logs there. That's kind of neat. You can set those up, and I don't know if I'll do that for this map, but it was pretty neat. You can do waterfalls. I mean, they know how to make it look like this. I'm still learning how to make it look like that, but I mean, you can see it's just incredible. You can do ponds, lakes, swampy areas, rivers, roads, even with that. And you can see right now, even it's normally $50 is half off. So if you want to go jump on that, you better get on it quick. They do these sales every once in a while, so this isn't the first time I've seen it half off. So if you miss it, don't worry about it. You can get it half off later. But you can see it's just, I mean, just amazing. So anyway, you download that in the asset store. You load it in, or basically you import it. So you go to assets. Well, actually, when you do it through the asset store here in Unity, it will walk you through it. But you can, let's see, where is it? Oh yeah, import package, I think it is, or import new asset, one of those two, and it'll import it in. But I'll just do it through the asset store. It's a whole lot easier. So anyway, when you do that, you get this right here, down here, and which is the nature, manufacture, assets. And if you scroll down, you can see River Auto Material, and then here's some other stuff under here. But this is really cool. Let me show you the roads real quick. And for you Farming Simulator guys that make maps, you are just not going to believe this. Well, I guess you might, but yeah, I find it interesting. So let me click off of that. All right, so let's say I wanted to add in a road. Let me show you how easy this is compared to Farming Simulator. All right, so all you gotta do is go up here to right in your hierarchy. There's a Create tab. Click on that. You get a drop down. Come over to 3D Object. Come down here to Create River Spline. And once you do that, it adds a RAM spline to your hierarchy, which is outside the project file. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. But all you gotta do is hold down the control button and click with your left mouse button, and you can draw a road in very quickly. All right, so you got that, and let me zoom down here. We can look at it, and right now the terrain's kind of showing through, but we'll fix that here in just a second. But so you also, over here on the right hand side in this inspector, you get this big window with all kinds of stuff in here. RAM, River Auto Material, and you got basic and points and all this stuff, and what is all that? It's not that hard to figure out. But so if I wanted to add a road texture to this that we just popped in here, if I go down here under River Auto Material Profiles and Road Profiles, right now there's only one, and I was thinking that there was another one, but I guess not. So if I just click and drag this over to here where it says Spline Profile, there we go. We got us a road, nice and smooth, and looks good. The next thing we need to do though is we need to go over here to this terrain button, We click on that and we change this to flat. Come back over to here and we click this Carve Terrain button. And I haven't quite figured this part out yet. I've got to work on that. However, you can see, once you get it figured out, it's pretty easy. But then we can go back over here to our ram spline, move it up just a little bit. You see we got us a road. Now, that's not a good way to do it. I've forgotten what I did to make it not be high like that. Anyway, I forgot what I did, but you can mess with it, and so there is some ways to fix that. And I think what I may have done wrong, let me back that up. So I probably needed to lower it down on the ground first. We'll try that. Yeah, so that's a little bit better. Then you can just raise your road up a little bit, get it in there. But anyway, I can't remember what I did that made it to where the road would automatically work. But I mean, this is kind of cool right here anyway, because it's kind of a raised road bed, and you can play with it and make it do whatever you want it to do. So anyway, that's how quick it is to make a road. And if you need to adjust a point, look at this. you can do anything you want to. You can make it a hill, you can make it go down, left, right, move it this way. There's all kind of stuff you can do with it. So I mean, that is really cool. Now, let's say we didn't want a road there. Control Z is not working. There we go. All right, so let's say we wanted a river instead of a road. Well, that's easy enough. All you gotta do is come down here to this river auto material, profiles, river profiles, and you can pick one. And oops, we're still on terrain. Go back to basic. Just click and drag again to this spline profile, and look at there, we got us a river. And if we want to do, say, a waterfall, look at that. You just raise it up, and it automatically does it. And then from there, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can change the scale, stuff like that, and make it bigger, smaller, whatever. It's just unreal. So anyway, that's how you do it, and it's pretty amazing. All right, so let's see, what else do we need to look at? Okay. Now let me just pop in a building here real quick. So I've got houses. Let's just pick this. I don't know. Let's try this guard tower. I think it's that one that we need. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we got us a guard tower in here now. And so right now it added it up here, but it's outside of this project level, and we have to get it in there. So how do we do that? Well, that's pretty easy. Just click on it, drag it down to here or down here somewhere, but I just put it on the level itself. It pops in at the bottom, and then see there, it goes down here to the bottom. Well, you see the little plus sign right here. And what that means is that it hasn't really been added to the level yet. And what you have to do is one of two things. You can either right click on it, go to added game object, and then apply to prefab, and that's my level. Or you can click on the level itself. Like say you've added a bunch of buildings, bunch of rocks, bunch of whatever. You click on the level itself. You come over here next to prefab where it says overrides. Click the drop down. You see there's the guard tower. So you have to click apply all, and that adds it to the level. So let's go ahead and do that because there is something else I want to show you. Alright, so it takes just a second and it will load it in there. But once it applies it, which it just did, let's say I don't want it in there anymore, I forgot. So you go in here, click delete. Oh, no, that doesn't work. So how do you get out of there? Well, you have to go into here, click open prefab, and it opens it there. Now you can go in here and click delete. Alright, so that's gone. Now to get back to your regular view, you can come up here right under create, click this arrow, and it gets you back to your scene, and our guard tower is gone. So that's you know, it's kind of annoying, but it's just the way it's got to be. All right, let's see. You can add all sorts of things. Like I said, you can go to the asset store. There's some free stuff on here that you can purchase or import, download, whatever. And to do that, let's say, let me find something that would probably be free. What about a traffic cone? Let's see, there's some free stuff. There's traffic cones that are free. So, you know, some of the, you know, non-super detailed stuff, you can get it for free sometimes. But, so basically, you just click on it, and you click the download, and it downloads, and once it finishes downloading, it gives you the option to import it, and then once it goes through importing, it pops up a little window, usually right over here on this side of the screen, and then there'll be a import button, and then what it does is it adds it down here under your assets. So you got your assets folder, and you can see there's the barrier pack I was just showing you a minute ago, which has it's got crash barrier, it's got a cone. So if we can add a traffic cone, you can see it right there, and before you add it to your level, you can just go ahead and hit delete, and it gets rid of it. It's only when you add it to your level that you have to go through the other process of removing it. And you know, I got a chain link fence, some signs, which is pretty cool. Let's do large, and you can get a little preview of them over here. You can spin them around and whatever. There's a right, there's a cross guard, divided highway. So there's all sorts of little signs that's on that package, which is pretty neat. But anyway, you get the idea. You can just go download stuff from there. Let's see, anything else for right now? Oh, so let's say one of the most important things. So let's say that you've been working on a map and you're finished. It's a good idea to save often, so I do Control S or save from there. Now to actually save it, to make it playable, you have to again click on your level, apply any overrides that may be there, then you have to open it and click the save button. And also at that point, it shows you the number of trees that you have added to the map. You can see right now I've only got just over 4,200. But once it finishes saving, then you can come back to your scene. If there's any, for any reason, I don't think there should be, but if there's any reason, if there's a little asterisk up here, you have to click save again, go file save. But to package it up, to play it, you come here to assets, all the way down at the bottom says build asset bundles windows. And what that does is similar to Farming Simulator, I guess, where it kind of, you know, you export and then you have to add the files back and then zip everything up. It sort of does all that for you. It's not a zip file, but it creates the file for you. So when you click this build asset bundles windows, it goes through several series of stuff. I mean, little windows that pop up here on your screen, and it'll go through them several times. This is a pretty nice computer I've got, and it takes probably, I don't know, I'm gonna say a couple 3 minutes or so to package everything up. But once it finishes, and it doesn't really give you a hey, I'm done, so you just kind of have to watch and make sure that all these little windows are finished. But once it finishes, let me show you this. Alright, let me expand this out so I can show you everything. So you go to your C drive, users, your user, app data, local low, Exponential Games Inc., which is, I guess, the company name of this developer's game, Lumberjack Simulator, and then finally mods, you'll see here's my level. So those two files are required to put in this mods folder, which like I said, it does it for you. But if you were to download one, say here's this McClendon 40-foot trailer that I downloaded, or someone gave me, one of the other modders gave me that to test, but I think it's on the Steam Workshop store now, so I don't even need that anymore really. But these two right here is the same, the game save that we just did. Well, I didn't go through it, but you get the idea. So it's these two files, and you can see the file size, it's up there. When you add more custom stuff to it and all that, it really starts to get big. But it's not terrible, I guess. And if you wanted to, zip it up and send it to somebody, I don't really know. I don't think zipping it makes much of a difference. But at least it puts those two files in one file. So anyway, that's the game file. But again, this is where the location is of the mods. C drive, users, your user, app data, local exponential games, Lumberjack Simulator, and finally mods. And that's where games save. In fact, I need to delete that right there because that is an old game save, a mod level test. I was doing another map. So anyway, that's pretty much Lumberjack Simulator mapping. There is, of course, some other details and stuff that I haven't gone over. But basically get the idea. I think that this right here is making a map, and I've kind of been, learning as I go, so I haven't really, sat down and really just got busy with a map, but I think this is a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, so I believe that this, compared to Farming Simulator, I can probably make a map like this size with Lumberjack Simulator, I'm going to guess, in probably half the time, or if not more, than what I did in Farming Simulator. So I'm going to really be cranking out some maps here pretty soon for Lumberjack Simulator. And let me just show you a little bit of this map. I don't want to give too much of it away. But I do have, whoa, got a little bit happy there with the shift button. But I do have a little creek that's going to come down through here from this little, I guess you call it a mountain pond. It's not really a mountain, but this little pond. I'm trying to put in some things to take up space. There's a big pond over there, or a big lake over there. And there's the name of the map right there. That is Lookout Mountain. And if it's not that big of a mountain, then, well, where we're from, this is considered a mountain. I don't know. I'm just making something up. But I got this little lookout tower up here, and right now I don't think I can get up. I can't get up in there, but that would be nice if I could figure out how to do that. I may come in here. It'd be a ton of work, but I may come in here and add colliders on all these steps, or at least some way to get up there. That'd be kind of fun to climb up in that thing. I can do it from here, but I can't. You can see the whole map basically from here, which is what I was going for. A few trees are still in the way to see, like down in there, but anyway, it's kind of neat. So this creek flows down from this this little mountain pond. You can see I've added in some rocks and got a slight little waterfall and whatever. And it comes down this way, goes across or under the road, where I have some little concrete pipes and stuff down there. I don't know if you can see it. The light's kind of poor in that spot. I got some little, road barriers, go crashing off into the creek. I'm still working on fixing this, which I haven't quite figured it out yet. I'm gonna try something here in just a minute. I think these pipes that are under the ground are causing that. I may be able to fix that, but if not, we'll just call it a washed out area of the road and just leave it. It's not that terrible. So coming on down here, the creek continues. I added in this little swampy area, which I'm gonna fill in with some trees and stuff. And there's a lot of mud down here, so if you coming to this spot to log, you better have you a recovery vehicle, another skidder or something to pull you out. Because let me tell you, I got a skidder buried up in here yesterday. I sunk it good. There's one little landing right there. I've got a little pine plantation, so to speak. You can't, and this is something I haven't figured out yet, which may be possible, but I'm not sure. I don't think you can put trees in rows. I gotta ask the developer about that, but it'd be kind of cool if those were more in rows. But you can see what I was going for here with kind of a pine plantation. And unfortunately, right now, the trees don't grow, and that's something that the developer is looking at for maybe, I don't know, Farming Simulator 2, Lumberjack Simulator 2 is possibly maybe having the trees actually grow, which would be really cool. But anyway, you just cut them down, and you have to. Well, there's no way to replant them either. So that's maybe something coming later too. But anyway, you get the idea. And then I got these mixed kind of forest in through here, and there's a little bit of hardwoods there, or birch tree. I call them hardwoods, but a little bit of birch trees there. I do have in here is some of these beech trees. You can see there's one right there and one over here. You can't cut those down, unfortunately. I just kind of add them in there for decoration, but we'll see what we can do about maybe getting something like that where we can cut them. There is a tree curator. Let me show you the tree curator real quick. I know I'm kind of dragging on here, but a lot to show off. So if you come up here to create 3D object and come down here to tree, let's see if I can move it over here where we can see it. I wish there was like a Control B or something like you can do in Farming Simulator, but I don't think there is. Alright, so there, you can kind of start to see it now. Let me get it. Now, there we go. Okay, finally. So here's our quote-unquote tree at the moment. And you can see over here on the right-hand side, we got some different things. We can add branches. So if I were to, you can change where it's coming from. So we can kind of do like a fork tree. And then off of that, you can do, let's see, is it here or is it there? Okay, so it must be here. And again, I don't know if this is possible because the developer was saying something about a 0:1 ratio or something like that. And you can change the group seed, which tells it basically where it's at on the main trunk. So if we wanted it up there, and then we can change, the shape of it, make it something like that, and then we can, from there, we can add some leaves. This is going to be a stupid looking tree, but we can change the frequency, so add more leaves. Then you have to add the textures, which I'm not going to get into today. But anyway, basically you can see you can kind of build a tree inside the game, which is kind of neat. You have to go into Blender and all that crap and then build it outside. You can just do it there. So I'm just going to delete my dumb looking little tree. But anyway, so you can kind of get the idea. I think, like I said, I think that making maps here for Lumberjack Simulator is going to be so much faster than Farming Simulator. So that is kind of neat once you get the hang of it. But anyway, come join us in the Discord. There's a few of us in there that are modders and making maps and vehicles and all sorts of stuff. And it's not really that hard to learn. I'm putting together a tutorial document basically for my purposes, but I may at some point continue on doing some of these little short tutorial videos. Well, this one's not short, but tutorial videos on how to do some of this stuff. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this Lumberjack Simulator Unity tutorial, and hope you learned something. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.